Hi, my name is Andrea Miranda, and today I'm going to be talking about why I believe men should be using sexual contraception as frequently as women. So, as many people know, there are numerous forms of sexual contraception. There are things like birth control pills, IUDs, patches, implants, and injections, and also things like condoms and surgeries like vasectomies and hysterectomies. So, when looking at the list that I just provided you, there are only two male contraceptives on it, and they're pretty much the only two male contraceptives that are known throughout the world. And they are, of course, condoms and vasectomies. So, when presented this information, I'm sure there are a lot of questions or comments that come to mind, but the main question that sticks out is why do men have way less options for birth control when it comes to women? So, there's a lot of answers to this, but the main answer is that although men share an equal responsibility for preventing unwanted pregnancy, they also share way less consequences than women when it comes to childbearing. According to the AMA Journal of Ethics, only 15% of single parents are men, and there are about 154,000 men in the US that are stay at home dads. And this is out of 72.2 million fathers that are in the US, according to the US Census Bureau. And so, of course, men do not carry child, which allows them to sleep around more promiscuously and allow them to have less stress when it comes to dealing with birth control. They can easily, sleep with a woman and be like, oh, are you on the pill? And chances are most women are on birth control of some sort, and they pretty much think that they don't really have to worry about it. And according to the AMA Journal of Ethics, some men claim that they are less motivated to use contraception because they have fewer consequences to face when it comes to pregnancy. So let's look at the two types of contraceptions that men have, and the first are condoms. So condoms are really accessible and really affordable, and you can get them anywhere. Gas stations, universities for free, you can get them at corner stores. However, a lot of men don't really like to use them because they think that it diminishes their pleasure slightly, so they refuse to use them, and that's pretty selfish. So we have condoms. And then we, of course, have the surgery of a vasectomy, which the surgery pretty much allows it so that sperm cannot reach the semen in the body, making it impossible to impregnate a woman. So vasectomies are also reversible if men choose to want to bear children in the future. And vasectomies are also really, really expensive. So you have a really cheap option, and then you have a really expensive option, which would be even more expensive if you decide to change your mind. So, there's not really a lot of men use condoms, but then they also decide not to use condoms, and a lot of men, I guess in their older years, would get a vasectomy, but probably not when they're really young. And this creates sort of a problem because they rely on their female partners to be the ones responsible to provide contraception, to be on birth control, so that they don't really have to worry about it. Women currently bear most of the financial and health-related burdens when it comes to contraception because female methods require more money if it's not surgery, and they require a doctor's visit to a physician or an OBGYN, and they also usually involve a renewable prescription. When it comes to birth control pills, they have to be taken daily, and you can't miss a time on it, and you have to get them over and over again. When it comes to IUDs, you have to get them every few years, and the same for implants and patches. They all have to be renewed. So why isn't there a male birth control pill? Well, the real answer is we don't really know why there isn't. According to BBC News, a new male birth control pill actually passed a safety test in late March 2019, so around a year ago, over a year ago, and it hasn't really been passed out yet. It hasn't been talked about since then, and no one's really said anything since then. And I think that that's kind of unfair to just put women in the position where they have to provide that for their partner, and for their partners to be sort of careless when it comes to planning for the future, and when it comes to, you know, deciding to have a child is a really big decision, and it's also a really big responsibility, and it gets in the way of planning for your life, it gets in the way of schooling, it gets in the way of your occupation, and so on. And I think that we all need a technology change. When looking at statistics, a woman can only pretty much get pregnant every year when it comes to 9 months in pregnancy time, and also recovery, because you're not supposed to get pregnant back to back. And then you have a man who can be single and could potentially sleep with, this probably doesn't happen, this doesn't usually happen, he could sleep with, a different person for each of those 9 months, and could potentially have a child for every day out of those 9 months. And that, creates a lot of children that could be unwanted. And, a man could easily leave, but a woman would have to deal with, adoption, abortion, and if they don't want to go through that process, they'd have to then raise said child. And it's a lot that should be decided between the two people. And I think that, men should be able to step up, and I'm sure that there are many that would like to, but don't really have the option to. And I think that it's essential in society today, in preventing teen pregnancy, preventing, unwanted pregnancy, especially in like third world countries, and even in, countries where we have everything we need, but people are less fortunate. And I think it's vital to take care of whatever you need to take care of in your life, and plan for whenever you want to have kids. Thank you for listening.